Okay, we're back for another podcast on HeadHunters Northwest. And today I'm excited. We have Ryan Repp with us. And this is a little bit of a twist on some of our podcasts where this is going to really talk about some high level marketing information that I think is valuable for a lot of small to medium sized businesses as well as large businesses. So, welcome, Ryan Repp. He's the founder of Repputation Marketing. Thanks for joining us.
Shailene, thanks for having me. It's great to join you.
Well, I would love for you to be able to tell our audience a little bit about you. I know you're well known in the industry and a lot of people know you, but for those who don't, maybe you could touch a little bit on your background and your experience.
Sure. Well, I have a little bit of a wild background, probably not the average pedigree for somebody in this industry. Maybe so. I don't know. But yeah, so most recently I was vice president of marketing for Brownells, a great company in Iowa. Spent 11 years there, ran communications, social media, public relations, event management, advertising teams, digital marketing, all the way up to the top there. Had a great time there. But before being at Brownells, I actually worked in major motorsports for some series that most people have probably heard of. And in PR roles. And then before that, I was a cop. So I bring a really weird background
Very weird.
of I think that I took something from every one of those things, right? So being a cop, you learn how to deal with people, or at least you should learn how to deal with people really well. In major motorsports, I learned tactics and techniques from a multi-billion-dollar organization, which I think was helpful, right? And then my time at Brownells, certainly, we had 1,800 brands or something like that behind the wall there. So learning how to be a good steward of hundreds and hundreds of brands and, working for an industry leader certainly helped. So I like to think that reputation marketing, which is just a kitschy play in my last name, of course, I like to think we bring some value to companies in the industry.
It's really a unique background. I'm glad you touched on all that because you would, having met you in person, I always look at you in these different ways. People have this perception of these industries. And I look at you and I think, my gosh, you could fit in all of those and yet none of them. And I think it brings such great experience for your customers that you're looking to work with and the help you're supplying, because you do have this really broad, very connected yet unconnected exposure. And I think it's really helpful to our industry.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Tell us about reputation marketing.
Yeah, so reputation marketing is it's a new venture for me. It's brand new. I'm really trying to work on trying to focus on small to medium sized companies in the firearm industry. Many people have asked me, "Hey, are you going to go back to motorsports or anything like that?" And potentially an option, but over the last 11 years, I've built up the connections in the firearm industry, and it's a place where I think some of the fundamentally best people that I've ever met in my life live and work. And so, yeah, I want to stay here and I want to stay close to it. So Reputation Marketing is a marketing agency that offers really, I'll say it's full service, but I don't want to be full service to any one client, right? First off, it's me and my partner, Josh Coburn. I was a well-known social media guy, a guru in the industry, has proven, that he knows not only the how to post and when to post and what to post for the algorithms, but he also knows hundreds of content creators in the industry. So wonderful asset and been a close friend of mine for years. But we have full videography, photography, graphic design, creative, and some of the things that we did in a past life were hailed as some of the greatest ad campaigns in the history of the industry by some people. We did a really, really cool things there. What we would want to do really though is focus on social management, content creator relations, and affiliate marketing. And a lot of companies are looking to bolster their online sales efforts. And I say affiliate marketing is the place you have to turn. And we're really, really getting deep into that. Have a few clients already who need help there in affiliate marketing.
And affiliate marketing is really confusing to those of us that don't dabble in that and that have not really understood it. I think the affiliate marketing is definitely something that, with your expertise and obviously your proven experience there, is really a high point that a lot of other organizations that may be great marketing firms or offer some of these services maybe don't have that experience.
Yeah, and I won't speak for other firms. There's some great ones out there,
Absolutely.
and they have certainly the ones I've talked to have all been very supportive of my efforts, and so I can't thank them enough. Again, this industry is
Yeah.
a big family, and even somebody who would maybe a quote unquote competitor is like, "Hey, man, this is awesome. You're going to do
Yeah.
well." So the support there has been great. But yeah, affiliate marketing. One of the things that I really like about affiliate marketing, and having worked at a bigger e-commerce company, the affiliate marketing is a pay to perform channel, right? If it doesn't perform, you don't pay. And what I love about it, I always break down when I think about marketing. I always look at things from the five. Well, generally, there's different models out there, but I like the 5 phases of the customer journey. The first 3, of course, being awareness, consideration, and acquisition. It really covers all 3, right? And so I've got a client who, put out a deal recently with a content creator. That deal was well received. It did generate some sales, but it generated a lot of clicks to their website. Those clicks they don't pay for, by the way. And so they saw a pretty significant lift over the weekend. And those people who went to the site, looked around, and they didn't have to pay for that because they didn't make a sale. If you make a sale, then yeah, you have to pay for it. But right, I mean, like most organizations, particularly in the retail world, are going to spend between 8 and 12, 13% of their forecasted revenue or of their revenue on marketing. And so the costs are similar. But the great part is, on some more traditional channels, pay-per-click channels and that sort of thing, you pay to get that person on your site. In affiliate marketing, you don't. And, obviously if you make a sale, then you pay for that. So it's a very smart way to market, and you're getting great branding out there through content creators linking to your site and talking about your products. And so that's one thing that we want to certainly help companies with. But I think one thing that I'm learning already in reputation marketing is like 6 or 7 weeks old, and we're lucky to have clients aboard and more people interested. So certainly grateful for that. But one of the things that I'm finding that's a real need in this industry is for strategic planning, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm glad you're going to touch on that. That's very important.
yeah, no, it's critical. And because, in the first couple of client meetings that I had, they started kind of talking about, hey, we want to do X, Y, and Z. And as a former marketing executive at a larger company, I look at that and say, okay, those are all tactics, and tactics are great. Tactics are where the rubber meets the road. That's important. But then I asked the question, okay, what is this driving to? So, you want to start a video series or a YouTube channel. Okay, awesome. So what content are we going to create? And, sometimes it's like, well, I know company X, Y, or Z is doing it, so we should do it too. Maybe that's a great plan and maybe it's not, right? And it depends on the strategy that you're driving to. And so one thing that I've learned, and frankly, it's not even necessarily a preference of mine, although I have started to really enjoy strategic planning with clients, but it really is sort of saying, let's develop baseline. Let's make sure we understand where you're going, where you're trying to get to from a strategic perspective, and then let's put tactics behind it. So I will never put tactics ahead of strategy. Strategy has to come first. Tactics have to come second. And it's so the part of me that got in and started a quote unquote marketing agency who wants to go shoot video and have fun and all that sort of thing. I want to do that. And I want to do that with clients who want support there. And, we've proven that we can do it well. But at the same time, I don't want to start a client down the wrong road. I want to make sure that we're adhering to the strategy that we put in place, to the goals that are in place, and to the company's brand position. And
so how do you, if you're a business owner in a small to medium size, and even some of these larger businesses, how do you get to that point where you know what you're going to do? When you're talking about strategy, do you go to their site? Can they hire you for a consultation? How does that work? How do you get to that point?
Yeah, so it really is. So yes, absolutely, they can hire us for a consultation.
Okay.
My program is a mix of several programs that are out there and what I've seen work and haven't and not work. And I think one of my unique abilities is to be able to break down these concepts into palatable, digestible, easy to understand sessions that are actually fun. We try to make them engaging, and I've got a weird sense of humor, so usually people respond to that, and the strategy sessions become pretty fun. But so if I'm not, somebody isn't necessarily seeking that out, sometimes they don't realize they need it, right?
Yeah.
And so one thing that I'll do is I'll sit down with clients and hear about their needs and what help we can offer. And then when I ask questions, just to say, okay, well, what does this drive to, or what ultimately, what behaviors of your customer are we trying to impact
Hmm.
or to
Yeah.
influence here? Oftentimes they'll kind of look at me and they won't exactly know. And so I said, well, are you familiar with this concept of strategic planning? Are you familiar with brand positioning? Have you ever done it before? And that's a service that we can offer. And the fun part for me, which I thought starting my own business in marketing and firearm industry was going to be out and doing cool things and
Yeah.
shooting guns and talking about having fun with gun companies or those in the industry, and that will be fun, and it's fun, and we've got some of those things coming up. But one of the things that's been unexpected for me, I think, has been watching light bulbs come on for clients, right?
Yeah.
Met with a great client just yesterday, and we walked through. We were doing sort of day 2 of strategic planning, and it was awesome for me to watch light bulbs come on and say, "Oh gosh, like I'm gonna stop doing this in my business, and I'm gonna start doing more of that." Right? And obviously in business, everything comes back to the dollar, and he's
Yeah.
already seeing how buying is going to change based on his strategy. So it's not just about marketing, really. It's about business planning, and then how does marketing provide the rocket fuel for that?
Which I think we as business owners and small businesses and executives need, because you can't see everything and you can't know everything there is to know about marketing, because marketing's changing so fast.
Every day.
I liken it to the tax laws. You can't hardly do your own taxes anymore because it changes so fast every year. It's continuing, whereas marketing is just, constantly ongoing and evolving. And
Hmm.
it seems like to me that what you can offer is really unique and valuable, because they still need to keep their own marketing team. You're not
Hmm.
replacing them, you're augmenting, you're
No.
coming in and helping with the high level strategic planning, and then you can plug the holes, and you have the resources where if they need videography, they need photography, if they need event planning, or there's certain projects they need help with, you can help them with those things, not come in and take over their marketing team. You're really helping them be better.
Yeah, that's a great point. We certainly. I had a meeting with a potential client several weeks ago, and they were just like, "Hey, can we just hire you to come in and be our marketing guy?" And first off, I'm like, "No, thanks and for the consideration, and humbled by the offer." But the answer to that question is no. We definitely prefer to work with a company that already has a marketing team in place, because it's frankly, marketing is nuanced and those sorts of things. So we would rather work with someone who speaks the language and that sort of thing. And again, I'm stealing from a friend who owns an agency in a very different industry. Um, but he says, look, you aim to be a PT boat, not an aircraft carrier, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to come in and we don't want to do all of your marketing. In fact, I would love to get strategy from whatever marketing person or team is in place, and then let us do the executables. But if they need help developing that strategy, obviously we're
Yeah.
happy to do it.
Lots of different levels, and even the large companies and the publicly held companies in our industry, they very often need to augment their marketing staff for projects or product releases or special things that come up, or even an outside perspective, I would think would be really valuable at times.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all victims of institutionalization to some degree, right?
Yes.
And I'll be the first one to admit it. After you look at your own company day to day to day to day, you start being sort of influenced by your own biases of what is and isn't possible,
Yeah.
right? And so sometimes it just takes that outside perspective, to shift things up a little bit, and you know, between Josh and I, we're both creative thinkers and a little outside the box. We're not afraid to be a little irreverent at times, you might say, but
Yeah.
and we've proven that over the years. I think with our work there that we did with Brownells, and um, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely valuable sometimes to have somebody come in and take a look.
Yeah. Without giving away any trade secrets or your unique knowledge and value, is there a way that you could kind of share with us where you see marketing heading over the next couple years, and any changes you have seen or will see? Because it just does seem to change so fast. I mean, for us, for instance, social media, which is the bane of all of our existence, but absolutely needed, that has really, it evolves, I swear, on a monthly basis. Are there areas that you foresee marketing heading when it comes very specifically to the firearms industry and shooting sports industry?
Yeah, certainly. So obviously, things that are on marketers' radars, or that should be on marketers' radars in this world, is obviously kind of Web 3.0, Meta VR stuff. That where are those opportunities going to take us? I think those are the things. And social media for us is not the bane of our existence. It's something that we love. It's something that over 10 years ago, I took my team and said, look, we're going to lead the industry in our social outreach efforts.
Yeah.
I have this term that I call, by the way, in social media, I have this term. This is a Ryan Repp term. This is not, doesn't come from some scholar, and it arguably, it would probably be better if it was, but it's not, because I'm not a
Yeah.
scholar. But I refer, when you talk of social media, I talk about social media from an inbound perspective and an outbound perspective, right? So outbound perspective is it's the post that you make on your channel, that you make, right? Inbound social media is what your content creator network, or quote unquote influencer network, is posting about you, right? And by the way, the inbound stuff is far more important to me than what I'm saying on my channel. And so, years ago, I promised Pete Brownell that we would build a kind of out a dream team, and we would do that based on relationships, and we've done that. And so, one of the things I think that we bring, shameless plug, is a lot of content creator relationships out there, and that those things are important. Compound that with an affiliate network, and I think you've got magic.
Yeah.
But getting back to the sort of the root of your question, the other thing that obviously is changing for marketers in this industry specifically are concerns around PLCAA, right? The predicate exception, PLCAA. For anybody who markets in this industry, I would strongly recommend that they go to YouTube and type in like C-SPAN and the firearm congressional hearing, where some CEOs, prominent CEOs from our industry, had to testify. And in my mind, if you watch that, it's great intelligence. Those who are anti-firearm laid out their playbook right there for how they intend to attack marketers in this industry.
Yeah.
So that's a significant change, and something that the industry is going to have to take note of. And I think that will change marketing in this industry. Those who can get ahead of the curve will be better off for it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. And I don't think most people necessarily are involved at the level that you're addressing right now. So could you go into just a little bit more detail and describe what you're referring to on YouTube for them to go and look at, and who what the channel would be to get educated on that? Because you're up to speed on that, and people don't know where to look for those hearings and those things. The acronyms and things like that, people don't know what necessarily. The younger marketers may not know what that is. Could you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, certainly. Happy to. So PLCAA obviously is the acronym for Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, which is an act, of course, designed to protect the firearm industry from, the evil intended using products that, that certainly no one in this industry has ever intended for them to be used for.
Yeah.
Right. So it's an act that Congress passed. I don't know the date. I should, but I don't know the date. It's been around for a while to protect us from, lawsuits. If, in the unfortunate circumstance that someone uses the products inappropriately. And there's an exception. There are exceptions to PLCAA, as there are exceptions to almost any law, right? And some of those exceptions are, grotesque in nature, right? So, a
Yeah.
retailer might still face, action if, litigation if, you sell a firearm to somebody without doing a background check. Okay, those are
Right.
grotesque violations. You put out a product that you knew had a a faulty barrel and it, whatever. Those are grotesque exceptions, right? Those are things that I think the average American man or woman would expect someone could file a lawsuit for. The one that is a bit more nuanced and the one that impacts industry marketers more directly is the predicate exception. And the predicate exception is being, I would argue, perverted to open exposure to companies who market in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
In general, this all stems from I think the settlement that DPMS made, with some of the
Mm-hmm.
families after Sandy Hook, that horrible event there, um, which talked about, they ultimately made that settlement because they basically were accusing the company of marketing in such a way that I don't remember the exact verbiage used, and I don't agree with the verbiage, by the way.
Right.
But the verbiage is what it is nonetheless, and it talked about, like, it was something about their marketing was inspiring young men with militaristic fantasies to act in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And the weird part about all of this is none of it is proven out. First off, I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. And I'm not either, but I think you're bringing really when we didn't talk about this before we got on here at all.
mhm,
So we're kind of going down a different path than I ever thought we would. But I think
mhm,
actually what you're bringing up, it very well may be one of the most important things we talk about,
yeah,
because marketing people in general don't necessarily or haven't been in the mindset of any sort of legal liabilities and things like that. And I'm not pointing that or saying they should be, but I
mhm,
think if you're looking to work in marketing to make yourself more credible and valuable to a company in our industry, I think showing that you know about these things and doing the work and reading and learning about what your company could be liable for really does make you more valuable to companies in our industry, and it's very unique to our industry.
oh, it's extraordinarily unique to our industry, and I can't think of too many other industries, maybe outside of tobacco and others,
Mm-hmm.
that face potential litigation based on marketing practices,
Yeah.
right? Outside of false advertising and those sorts
Right.
of things, right?
Right.
But yeah, so it's definitely a concern, and
Yeah.
the high level recommendations from prominent 2A attorneys is to avoid marketing in militaristic or overtly LE related fashions if your main target
Mm-hmm.
audience is not LE or mill, right?
Yeah.
And there are other things in there, and we're happy to. I don't say consult again because we're not a lawyer, but
Right.
we're happy to sort of generally advise to stay away from these things. And hey, here's what we would do instead, right?
Yeah.
And I do have clients who are generally familiar with the predicate exception and who are generally interested in that level of consulting, I will say. But the tough part about that is that even the most tenured 2A lawyers out there, it's still best estimate, right? Because
Yeah.
none of this has gone through the courts
Yeah.
yet. Really, none of it has case law behind it,
Yeah.
so it's all best guess. So I'll say that again. I can't say it enough. I'm certainly not a lawyer.
No,
Have a
it's just the awareness that you're
Mhm.
bringing up and saying, hey, there are things you can go out on your own as a marketing professional and you can do the homework and you can look into, I think is something that is really valuable, which goes back to, you know, our role is help people to be better, because each person who educates themselves and does a better job in their line of work, like you've done, will strengthen our industry. And one step at a time, one person at a time, and hiring the right people and bringing in the right marketing group for the need that you have is really essential. And that's really one of the points to having these podcasts, is to help people learn more about a variety of areas that they may not have crossed paths with you or reputation marketing. So hopefully this brings some exposure to your young company that comes with many, many years of experience. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here. Is there a statement or an interesting way you want to end this, or let people know maybe how to reach you?
Yeah, so certainly. So the reputationmarketing.com, that's reputation with two P's. If you're watching it on the screen, it's reputation with two P's. Marketing.com is the best place to reach us eventually. The website isn't live as of recording today, which is April 27th. But hopefully in the next couple weeks, it will be live. But, if you'd like to reach out and have a conversation, you can reach me at Ryan at Reputation Marketing, REPPUTATION marketing.com. Ryan at reputationmarketing.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me. I'd be happy to send out a pitch packet that talks about some of our endorsements, which we have from notable people around the industry who I've worked with over the years, some sample of the work that we've done, and a list of our capabilities. So I'd be happy to send that out to folks.
That's great.
Shailene, I do sincerely appreciate the opportunity to talk about what we're up to on your podcast.
Oh, I'm honored, and I've learned a ton, and I really am glad to have been able to do this with you, because I learned something from you every time I talk with you. Grateful for the friendship, and another talented person in our industry. We will put your website link in our information when we publish the podcast. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Thanks for being on the podcast, Ryan. And we look forward to you guys hearing our next podcast on the next recording. Until then, have a great afternoon.